This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist T.J. McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's T.J. McCormick.
Good morning and welcome to Another Side of Midnight. It's me, TJ McCormick, here on 77 WABC. Thank you so much, fellas. Thank you, Tony and Bill. And thank you, Dr. Sky, for the great handoff. I appreciate it. And here we go. It's 2:07. And this is one of those weeks. This is one of those it's been a week, a solid 10 days of since Charlie Kirk, that it's been, where do you start? And the last 48 hours of outcry from the pathetic left, truly pathetic and misguided left, with a constant vomit of garbage from them. As far as I understand it, the First Amendment guarantees our God-given, because rights, as Charlie Kirk would remind people peacefully and calmly and articulately, am I starting off inarticulately? As he would remind people, because God grants rights, not man. God bestows rights, not man. The First Amendment guarantees our right of free expression. Freedom to gather and say what we want to say, with whom we want to say it. The freedom of the press, free press. It guarantees freedom of expression and freedom to gather and a freedom to write it down. Does not guarantee a job. It doesn't guarantee a living. It doesn't bestow. The First Amendment does not bestow upon you from God a gig. It doesn't. It guarantees you the right to express yourself. If anything, it's beholden to, when it comes to jobs, the marketplace, right? Your gig lives directly adjacent to, or in light of, the marketplace. Who wants to hear what you have to say? And you can imagine what a loaded monologue this is, because I am living, breathing, the living, breathing example of this. Every single Saturday and Sunday morning, I say a prayer, say several, but they're all, I say one final one before I come on, asking God to give me, to bring out every gift, every tool, every arrow in the quiver that he has provided me, so that I can entertain you, that I can grab you intellectually, motivationally, that I'm funny, that I'm smart, that I'm articulate, that I'm sharp enough and quick enough to pick up on things, that I'm present intellectually, so that you listen and enjoy and engage and maybe tell a friend And that happens enough that Mr. Katsimatidis and Mr. Lopez and everyone else deem me and my mind and my mouth worthy of the microphone and the airwaves, and there we go. And that's the relationship. And Jimmy Kimmel has a right to say what he wants. Jimmy Kimmel has a right to go out there and push the envelope. And after, 30 years in show business, he knows damn well that there's a piper to pay if he pushes that envelope too far at the wrong moment. He has a right to say whatever he wants. And I'm sorry, there is definitely going to be a little bit of a redundant nature because of this monologue, because it deserves driving home this point. And so Jimmy goes out there, and he's not stupid. He knows. I know how much emphasis I could really kick into this monologue by throwing out a crazy F-bomb and apologize later. Well, it would be the last apology I'd make, and I'd make it off air because I'd be done. And I know I can't. Not allowed. That's not what this station does. That's actually not what I do on the radio. I do it plenty in my own time. But anyway, the point is that Jimmy Kimmel knew exactly what the parameters were. And ABC, see now people, the dopey people in my universe, the dopey, one-sided, myopic, blinders on, dopey Democrat, liberal lefties in my world, so many of them in show business who have never raised a finger or their voice in support of so many conservatives who found their voices idled during the Obama and the Biden years and all the Me Too years and the cancel culture years. And yes, Me Too, of course, yes, that is a very worthy issue there. But the Me Too thing started to bleed over into words and conjecture and anecdotal evidence, and people were just gone. And nary a flippin' word was said by people who make a living with words in Hollywood. Because it suited their own pursuits. It let them sleep good at night. Because conservatives and people who just didn't, and even liberals, I mean, they wouldn't even stand up for their own liberals, for their own lefty neighbors. They wouldn't. And so here comes ABC, and you find the people up in arms on the other side. They're up in arms because they're saying that, well, you know, when they canceled Roseanne, this is what one dopey idiot said to me on Facebook today. When they canceled Roseanne, that was business. This is government intervention. It's my understanding that Barack Obama, when Roseanne Barr, I mean, yeah, it was offensive. It was absolutely offensive when Roseanne Barr referred to, well, if you take her at her absolute word, she didn't know, she didn't know that Valerie Jarrett was African American. She didn't know Valerie Jarrett was black, and she said that she looked like what'd she say? She looked like a cross between Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes actor. She didn't know that she said she didn't know. Again, sitting here where I am, when Roseanne Barr said that, when I read the quote, as a comedian, as a comedy writer, as a communications guy, as a speech writer, as somebody who makes comments on TV and other places and radio and now does this, as soon as I read that line, I went, ooh, no, just don't say, ooh. There are some things you just don't do or don't say, and you stay away from the third rail, and you should be okay. You know, don't try to get a gun through TSA. Don't ever, 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 ever do blackface for Halloween or anything. Never, ever, 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 ever pull back your eyes and do Chinese eyes. Never do Asian eyes. Ever, ever, ever. I don't care if you're all alone in your bedroom. Someone will get a photograph of you making Asian eyes. Don't ever do it. Okay? Do you know one time I did it accidentally? My daughters, and this is the truth. One time we were it was 2 times ago that we were in England with my wife and my girls. And we were in Chinatown in London. It's a great Chinatown. And we had been out walking all through Chinatown. All through London. And I mean, we were one of those days up and at 'em, out the hotel, and we're out and we're walking. And oh my God, we're walking. 8:00 comes. It was like almost closing time at this Chinese restaurant, great dumpling place. We're going to get a bunch of stuff, bring it back to the hotel. Bunch of dumplings and stuff, bring it back to the hotel. The girls are sitting there waiting for the to-go, the takeaway food. I am exhausted. And I'm standing in the middle of this Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in London. And you know how you kind of just do like weird, stupid things when you're tired and you're exasperated. And I did this. In the middle of the Chinese restaurant, I rubbed my face and I just sort of pulled my face back because I was so tired. And my daughters go, Dad, stop that. And I go, what are you talking about? And I realized in my weird exhaustedness, stretching, I was pulling my face back and I was making like 1950s racist Chinese eyes is what I was doing. Okay. If it was a bad Bob Hope movie, that's what I was doing. And all I was doing was stretching and going, oh my God, where's our food? I can't wait to get out of here. And I'm pulling my face back and I'm going nuts. Oh my God. And my daughters go, Dad, stop that. Anyway, it's a good point. It's a bit of, I digress quickly, but a true story. And just a point. That's one of those things you never ever do. And sometimes you don't even know if you're going to do it. Anyway, Roseanne Barr says what she says. My understanding was that the Obamas actually got a hold of their buddy Bob Iger, then the head of ABC, Disney. And zippity-doo-dah, Roseanne's gone. Canceled an entire program. Anyway, the point is, even if, or rather, and I'm not even, I'll stipulate that the FCC chimed in. I'll stipulate that the FCC chimed in. I'll even go so far as to say, even if Trump himself sent a note to ABC or one of these one of the satellite company, was it Sinclair? What is it? The big satellite company that owns a bunch of their affiliates. That's a big player for ABC. Even if an actual named member of the administration, in addition to FCC Commissioner Carr, made a phone call, ABC doesn't have to do it They saw this as bad for business. Whatever it was, whether it's the FCC breathing down their neck or just their own. Hey, look, the word is too, is that ABC, it looked like Jimmy might have been on the bubble anyway, because Colbert hemorrhaging $40 million a year. You don't sneeze at that in this new day and age of late night television. Look, back in the day, Johnny Carson, his show peaked at about 15 million people nightly. Granted, an entirely different business model, 9 channels, whatever the heck it was. But still, by the time 92 came around, it was still cable. There was still cable out there, and Johnny was pulling, at his peak, 15 million people per show. Jimmy, 1.77. Tippity top, 1.77 million. So, you have a right to say what you want. You have a right to say, and you have a right to be offended. Cancel is what the left has done and does. The left goes back. See, cancel culture is different from this, by the way. This is not canceling. All right? This is not canceling. This is business. Cancel culture is when people go back and go looking. Cancel culture is when people go back or something comes to the fore that you said 8 months ago, 8 years ago, 18 years ago, 38 years ago. And those numbers are going to keep climbing as people get older and the internet gets older and everything lives forever on the internet. Cancel culture is when people go back and find something and dig it up, or it's presented and they hang you for it years later. Cancel culture is when people are allowed to selectively apologize. People cherry pick who can apologize and who can't. Who can say, mea culpa, and who must die regardless of their mea culpa, if you even give them a chance to say you're sorry. That's cancel culture. This is business. Cancel culture is when you send the IRS after conservatives. Cancel culture is when you knock people off of social media, when you ban Twitter accounts, when you ban Facebook accounts, when you literally, cancel culture is when you pull the New York Post's Twitter feed down when they're trying to report on Hunter Biden's laptop. That's cancel. This is business. You've got a massive number of people in this country in mourning because a lovely 31-year-old guy with a lovely family wasn't just assassinated. Charlie Kirk was assassinated basically on TV. I think all of us, either accidentally or proactively, have seen that video. If you haven't seen the video, so sadly, you're in the minority. I mean, I'm happy for you if you haven't seen it, but the sad part is that you're in the minority. I think the majority of people have seen it. Kids as well, especially Gen Z. Jimmy Kimmel was speaking cavalierly about the subject. He wasn't speaking cavalierly about Charlie Kirk being dead, but he was speaking cavalierly and flippantly, zippity-doo, bop, 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 snapping his fingers and talking flippantly about the subject, an incredibly raw subject. where for maybe the first time it's since what? We all saw Robert Kennedy. No, I'm sorry. We didn't see well, yeah, I'm sorry. Good number of people saw that when Sirhan did that. Good number of people have seen Kennedy. How many saw it live? I guess a lot, right? Millions? And now, once again, now in living color, in real time, innocence lost. Hundreds of thousands of Gen Z young people in America saw their JFK, their RFK, shot in the neck. And Jimmy Kimmel, because he probably digs it, or he hates the people that are hurt. There you go. Jimmy Kimmel hates the people that are hurt. Howard Stern, Jimmy Kimmel's bestie, he hates the people that are hurt. And he said it 100 times. By the way, you can take that to the bank. The once great Howard Stern said how many times and got how much ink every time he said, I don't want you. If you're a Trump supporter, I hate Trump supporters. I'm probably paraphrasing. But he, generally speaking, got across the point that he hated people who supported Trump. He didn't want you listening to his show. So he's probably in deep, deep hate with the people that loved Charlie Kirk. And so Jimmy Kimmel gets all flippant and cute and cavalier and starts dancing around the third rail of the subject of Charlie Kirk. And he goes too far for ABC's liking. And whether or not they were directly influenced, even if they were directly influenced by the FCC, they didn't have to roll over. They saw it as bad for business. So just like Roseanne Barr, that was business. Dopey lefties. Dopey, cruel, unfeeling lefties. Just like Roseanne Barr was business, this was business too. And the First Amendment, beholden, when it comes to your job, is beholden to the marketplace. You know, hey, look, man, if Colbert was still on the air, this would have been a twofer this week, probably. Because that jerk would have been all over this as well. Because they think they're on the side of the angels. They think they're on the side of the angels. To the left, don't forget. To the left, even the left who think they're funny, even the left who think they're cute. The ends justify everything. When you think you're on the side of the angels, you are deluded into thinking that the end justifies everything, including when AOC stands there in Congress. Do we have that drop, by the way? Forgive me. I didn't, the AOC. I think it was from Rita's show. I don't know the numbers. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah. The ends justify everything, leading to one of the most ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. It didn't even occur to me until just now when I remembered what AOC was saying in Congress today when she goes out there and takes these shots at Charlie Kirk and then follows up. It's like she was the living embodiment of all those tweets where you see people say, oh, I feel so sorry for his family. But
today, the Republican House majority brought to the floor a resolution honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's assassination was a horrific and vile attack and incident of political violence. And condemning the depravity of Kirk's brutal murder is a straightforward matter.
Yeah.
One that is especially important to help stabilize an increasingly unsafe and volatile political environment where everyday people
she thinks she's
feel more
Linus.
at risk.
Lights, please. That's what
We
she thinks.
can deeply disagree and come together as a country to denounce the horror of this killing.
All right, but
It is not a license for the abuse of power and whitewashing of American history. Today's resolution only underscores the majority's recklessness by choosing to author this condemnation and honoring on a purely partisan basis, instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy with one of the many bipartisan options to condemn political violence and Kirk's murder, as we did with the late Melissa Hortman. Instead, the majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of...
She brings up Horton. Every single Republican, that was, to my memory, that was a unanimous vote. Every single Republican voted for that resolution memorializing Hortman. And Hortman, well, just look, bottom of the hour. Got to take a break. We're going to take a break and we're going to continue to crucify Jimmy Kimmel and everybody who defends him. And talking about free speech, again, we're going to get to Silas and Saul and Chris. We'll talk to you guys in a second. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. God, if you disagree with me, please to the front of the line. To the front of the line. If Jimmy Kimmel is owed a job, if Jimmy Kimmel or you or me, if I came in here and I decided to just do my own thing on Mr. Catsimatidis' microphones, am I owed the gig because it's free speech? No. Even more so Jimmy Kimmel. Because you know what, too? Jimmy Kimmel is going to tiptoe right on over. He's going to go to his mansion. He's going to have this. You know what? Right now, there's a crew of laborers, probably undocumented, right now descending upon his mansion somewhere in L.A., building a state-of-the-art podcast, audio and video studio. He's going to be up and running with his own subscription-based product. Jimmy Kimmel is going to be just damn fine. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ, on 77 WABC.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
2:38. Good morning. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ, here on 77 WABC, and we're talking about, you know, the crybaby and his chorus of crybabies, his peanut gallery of supporting crybabies, all these blind, dopey Democrats, these liberals out there in Hollywood. Friends of mine drive me nuts on Facebook. 1-800-848-9222. That's the number. Friends of mine on social media driving me out of my mind. Just bonkers. Making me crazy. And nobody is entitled to a job. Okay? He's entitled to his dough. You want to fire a guy with his contract? Hey, look. Jimmy Kimmel's getting paid. Jimmy Kimmel is getting paid. That hateful, unfunny, used to be kind of funny. The guy's living the most hypocritical career. Used to his show would feature, the Man Show would feature girls jumping on trampolines and little skirts. Did he ever have to apologize for that? He did. How much did he do in blackface? Jimmy Kimmel has checked every inappropriate box. He skated through cancel culture. Skated through it. He has said offensive things. He has done offensive things. And you know what? He has survived and lived to tell the tale every single time. So you can take your cancel culture references and just, you know what to do with them. This is business. Look, can a server walk into Smith & Wollensky? Can a server walk into Smith & Wollensky, take his white apron off, wave it around his head, and say, "Good evening to everyone here. I'm Larry. I'll be your server, except the Jewish people and any Indian little people. Any Indian midgets, you can just kiss my bright red Rosie. Right out here on 3rd Avenue. I'm Larry. I'll be your server, except for you, ma'am, because you have red curly hair. You are my bright red Rosie, and you can kiss mine right here, right now." No, Larry can't do that because that's not allowed. Now, it's free speech. Larry can say that. He can say the words and not go to jail. He can't call for people to be hurt. He can't, okay, the classic fire in a theater. You can't incite violence. You can't call for somebody to be killed. That you go to jail. Now look, maybe Larry works at the Goofy Steakhouse, and the Goofy Steakhouse is allow all comers and all kinds of goofiness, and he can make fun of little Asian Indian midgets, and he can, well, gosh, I mean, can we even say midget? I don't know. Or maybe I'll find out. But you can't walk into a restaurant and yell offensive things because the marketplace doesn't bear that out. The marketplace doesn't allow that. Jimmy Kimmel did something that finally just kind of weighed on his bosses. His bosses run a business. Silas in Staten Island, line 1. Good morning, Silas. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight. I'm on a tear tonight. I'm not acting like the usual TJ.
I'm glad you brought this subject up to talk about. They always go to the past because you can't change the past.
Ooh, good
That's
call.
Right.
You're right.
You know how many funny things that were on the Dean Martin roast and stuff, and everybody had a laugh. You know how many people were on Johnny Carson had a good laugh.
Sure.
So now I can go back any time in the past and use it on you.
Yep.
Now, when they talk about naive people, I've tried to say that communist, socialists, well, all of them, they're the they. It comes from the left. We don't try to kill people we disagree with. You're 100% right. He's going to be fine. Stern's going to be fine. Yeah. He's sitting on more than almost $1 billion. Oh, he could waste $1 million a day, and he can't outlive his money.
Right.
So I'm not worried about it.
Nope.
But we ain't trying to kill him.
Right. Or put him in jail.
And when they even Bank of America canceled Donald Trump's money, told him to get out of our bank.
Wow, I forgot about that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. But now when you talk about, people say, well, the black on black crime, they've convinced blacks to go at each other, but they've convinced whites to go at each other. Look at all the people from Charlie Kirk to the president on down, taken out by white guys. 90% of these people who are protesting are white, and they hate other white people because of their ideas, not their color.
Yeah.
They hate us because we don't agree with them. and they want to take us out.
And the key word is there, Silas, and thank you for calling, brother. It's hate. It's hate. It's hate. And just when did the rubber really hit the road with this gang? When did the rubber really hit the road with the division in this country? And I know, I am hyper political tonight. I'm slightly hyper tonight, but it's just been cooking all day it's been cooking for a few days, and I'm still raw over this Charlie being murdered. And again, there's so much here, friends. So much here. But anyway, when did this really start? The Obama administration. Because you know what? You know what we were on our way to? We were on our, and they could not afford it. Democrats could not afford it. We were well on our way to being fully identified as the welcoming, tolerant nation that we are. Issues, faults, yes, of course. Battles, yes. Hate, yes. Bias, yes. Prejudice, yes. Yes, of course. There's racism everywhere, and it's awful. And I loathe it. I'm not an idiot. I'm not blind to all of it. But in the grand scheme of things, we are a kind, welcoming, progressive, tolerant nation. And it seemed that we were a little bit too much of that for the Democrats' liking once we re-elected a black guy. Barack Obama, we re-elected an African-American president. And they looked at each other and they said, oh my God, we're doomed as a party. And next thing you know, hands up, don't shoot. Next thing you know, all of that stuff starts going down, as do the buildings as they burn them. Riots, protests, anger. Who's a racist? He's a racist. Who's a racist? She's a racist. Racist. And who comes in? Trump. Boom. Fascist. It's 2:47. We got to take a break here. Quarter of the hour. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Really want to talk to you about this. And if you disagree with me, again, right to the front of the line. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ here on 77 WABC.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Zeigazant, everyone. Good morning. It's 2:49. So over on social media, where I heard from Maureen from Sherman Oaks, from my old neighborhood there. She chimed in saying, "Yep, I accidentally saw that video as well, the Kirk assassination." So thank you, Maureen, for listening. Grateful you're there. Catherine is over here on X now, taking a look and seeing who's around. Catherine is there. Thank you. Wondering where Patty is. Where's Patty? Where's Patty in Mamaroneck? Where are you, Patty? Haven't heard from you in a little while. At TJ McCormack on Twitter, X, at TJ McCormack. And it's also at TJ McCormack _ on Instagram. Instagram is at TJ McCormack _ 1-800-848-9222. Talking about Kimmel, the guy's, he's gonna be fine. But he's not entitled to a job. Nobody is entitled to a gig. He's got a contract. He's entitled to the money he's got coming to him, sure. But free speech, the First Amendment, does not entitle anyone to a gig. I know that. Hey, look, I'll tell you about this in the next hour. I'll tell you about my own blacklisting story. To the extent that someone who's not exactly famous. I'm sure, actually, no. I mean, yeah, I was blacklisted. You know, I always qualify it by saying, well, I wasn't exactly famous. But no, screw that. In fact, top of the next hour, I'll tell you about how and why I lost my probably the single greatest opportunity that I was ever going to have in Hollywood. And it was solely because of my politics. And it was egregious. It was actionable. But I didn't take action. I just, whatever. I licked my wounds and I whatever. Stupid me. Saul on line 2. Good morning, Saul, out on Long Island. How are you, pal?
Oh, hi, TJ. Your show is fabulous.
Thank you.
One of the reasons we have the First Amendment is so we can know how stupid some people are.
Well put.
Yeah, the thing is, you're always going to have blabbermouths out there, and they're always looking to score points.
Yeah.
And some of them are not really intelligent. They don't understand that they're saying things that could get them in trouble, or so they just don't have that ability to really understand that. And they're goofballs. They're entertainers. They're the class clown in front of millions of people. That's all they are. But the problem I have today is, like, you talk about free speech and people talking. I mean, we've had people lose their jobs over their politics or that they express some. The 65 Immigration Act is kicking in now. It turned the Democratic Party into a hard left party, and we're not going to be able to overcome it. You see what Omar was saying, that clown? Then you have Cortez. She wants to run for president. Listen, people in this audience, your children and grandchildren will bow to Omar and Cortez and Tlaib because they'll be the majority. They'll be the power leaders and the power brokers inside this country. It's unfortunate, but we let it happen. They don't talk about, because free speech, they don't talk about a million Muslims will vote for, I call them damn New York, for mayor. They don't. They're just like crazy college kids. And some of those college kids aren't even going to know what day election day is. But the bottom line is, free speech is only free if you're a radical leftist. You can get away with saying anything. We've heard it. If you're conservative, you're get in trouble. You're afraid to say anything. That's not America. That's really not America. But the 65 Immigration Act, if they don't repeal it, it's the reason why it's kicking in now. That other clown in Somalia, Minnesota, is running for mayor too. He's a clown. Yeah. And the problem is we're being outnumbered now because illegal immigration's got to go along with illegal immigration, or we're going to be a total leftist country. Only because we run. That's the difference between us, Europe, England, and Ireland. We can run because the big playground here. Well done, Saul. Thank you, brother. Thank you for calling in. It's another side of midnight here. It's 2:53. Pete on Staten Island. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Pete. Good morning, TJ.
Hi.
I got a call from a person who was writing a book with me about my wife's story about 4 years ago, the politics, he and I didn't talk anymore. I had a lot of money that I put up with him, and I didn't hear from him. It was all the politics. Well, he called me yesterday to tell me how I was right about this with Trump and how Biden, really messed this country up, And it was a big victory, and I really see that the country is turning. People are starting to see what the truth really is. It's with Charlie's death, very personal to me because before he was known as for his beliefs and speaking out, he helped me carry my wife's wheelchair up St. Patrick's Cathedral at Bernie McGurk's funeral. And when I, saw what happened, I really took it bad because usually 9/11, I'm a basket case. My wife and I went through it, So,
but you said that today. 9/11. You said today was a big victory for the right, though.
Well, I think so because this guy calling me to tell me he's a poet, surprise, writer, and for him to call me and say this, what happened, and I actually have a book deal with Simon and Schuster now.
Oh, great!
So I told them it's all over. Just come up with my money, And
right. Hey, there you go. It's all about the Benjamins, right? Thank you there, Pete. I appreciate it. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. It's just it's just it's unbelievable how people have been, some of the takeaways from these last 10 days. So callous. Just so callous. People, I mean, everything from those loaded sentiments of condolences on social media, followed by a but, or having to start false condolences with, I never agreed with the word they said, but I never agree. I'm on the complete other side of the political divide, but blah, 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 thoughts and prayers. Everything from that to just the straight up celebration. In my town, up in Westchester County, we had a school officer, a school resource officer. They call them SROs. Westchester County Police officer. And it's out there now, she was posting on social media her celebration, or rather glorification, of the violence that killed Charlie Kirk, making references to the fact that he was white and how white people this and white people that, and how she claimed that he said that white people weren't that black people weren't qualified to do certain jobs. A lie. And she said, well, I'm paraphrasing, that white sniper sure was qualified to put that hole in your neck, honey bunny, what she said. This is a police officer, a Westchester County police officer that Westchester County thought was qualified just perfectly to be in charge of the safety of a school full of children. And when we come back, we'll talk to Jesus, we'll talk to Mike, and we'll talk to you, 1-800-848-9222. We're not done with this. Going to also talk about some of these vigils. I'm going to tell you about a town also in Westchester where they were just about to come together and unify a town at a vigil. And I'll tell you what happened. Or rather, what's not going to happen. Yeah. There's still a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell you my story of how I was blacklisted in Los Angeles. I didn't get to enjoy free speech. And I didn't even say anything offensive. I just said how I voted one time in a conversation. And I ended up, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the story when we come back. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick. Here's the upside. I never got that gig, and I'm here with you. Is that an upside for you? I hope. 1-800-848-9222, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Ain't that just rich to hear that news piece about Barack Obama giving a pep talk to all these businesses that need to start standing up to government intervention and all of that stuff. Barack Obama, who gave us hands up, don't shoot, and Barack Obama, who gave us Trayvon Martin, and Barack Obama, who gave us they bring a knife, we bring a gun. Barack Obama, who gave us, I want you to argue with them and get in their face. Barack Obama, who said, I don't want to quell anger. I think people have a right to be angry. I'm angry. Hit back twice as hard. Barack Obama. You know, he could have been so transformational. He could have been he could have been that next face on Mount Rushmore. Could have been. Instead, he told you, you can keep your doctor. And then downhill from there. Good morning. TJ here. It's another side of midnight on 77 WABC, 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. And so he's given this pep talk to these guys. How about ABC was tired of Jimmy Kimmel and all the drama? How about ABC saw Jimmy Kimmel as being on the bubble? How about, do we know what the numbers are for the Kimmel program? Stephen Colbert was hemorrhaging $40 million a year. Was Kimmel, was the show solvent? Was it making money? How was that brutally unfunny program? How was Kimmel doing on the numbers? Dollars and cents wise. What was the ROI for ABC with the Kimmel show and their, at the El Capitan? What a fouling of a beautiful old ancient show business palace. So here comes Obama. Is that not interfering? Is that not interfering on his part? And granted, he's a private citizen now. It's not like the government. But, maybe when the FCC comes in, and if I'll stipulate that the FCC, that Carr, the FCC chairman, I'll stipulate and say, okay, all of that's true. Right, wrong, or indifferent, good or bad, up or down, FCC threw an elbow at ABC. Okay. We'll reserve judgment. And I'll even say it's bad. Okay. I'll meet you all the way, you dopey Democrats. I'll meet you all the way and say the FCC threw an elbow, hip checked ABC into the boards, and it's wrong. Okay. ABC can fight. ABC can stand by its guy. What? The FCC is gonna fine ABC into oblivion? Now, apparently this big affiliate group, they didn't like. Now that's privately owned business, another business, whatever, public corporation, but a business and another business, they're all trying to do business. And there's this affiliate group, I think based out of Texas. Sorry, there's a lot of I thinks tonight, but this morning. But you've got these business entities trying to do business with one another. And again, they could circle the wagons and stand up to the FCC and the big bad Trump government and all of that and fight. Maybe, or rather, apparently, they didn't see Jimmy as worth the fight. So there you go. It's business for you dopey dopes that are just chirping away on Facebook and social media and all out there saying, Roseanne was big. When they fired Roseanne for saying that about Valerie Jarrett, that was business. This is, this is government intervention. You dopes. 1-800-848-9222. I lost a gig that I had gotten and I didn't even know I had it. 25 years ago, I was the flavor of the month in Hollywood. And I lament this because, there's what could have been, right? Always in life, there's what could have been, what should have been, what almost happened. I had a number of them. By the grace of God, this is the opposite. This is happening, and I'm so grateful to be at WABC. Lifelong pursuit. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm so grateful to God. So grateful to God. Anyway, God's plan. All right, okay, sometimes we begrudge God's plan. But 20-something years ago, I always refer to it as I was the flavor of the month. I was a young comic from New York out in LA doing the thing and killing it. Had my beautiful wife, the bombshell, same girl. And she was off dancing and a recording artist, and she was making records and was in a girl group and all that stuff. She was touring with NSYNC and all that, my wife, doing her own famous thing. And I'm out there auditioning for things, and I was doing a game show one time. I was a celebrity panelist on a game show on the Animal Planet. Animal Planet had a game show called You Lie Like a Dog. It was like To Tell the Truth. And was it To Tell? Yeah, it was like To Tell the Truth or The Liars Club. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, we're taking a break. We're having like a lunch break in between shooting episodes of this game show. And the subject of gun control came up because there had been a rash of shootings in LA. Now, there's always shootings in LA. But when there's a rash, when the number rises to the level of you got to give it a name, you've got to qualify it with a descriptive. There was a rash of shootings in LA, like not just shootings, murders. Like people were dying. It was like, the Wild West for about 2 weeks. Rough summer of violence that particular year. And somebody was talking about taking the guns away. And this was also kind of on the heel. Was this on the heels of? This might have been on the heels of, Elian Gonzalez. Yes, it was on the heels of Elian Gonzalez. What am I talking about? So I was particularly touchy when it came to, the government. And so I said, when somebody said, well, they should just take away all the guns. Just take them away. No more guns. People, you don't need guns. People don't need guns. Okay. And I'm not a big 2A guy. I never owned a gun. I shouldn't say that onto the radio these days. I am very well armed. I am armed to the teeth. All right. Anyway, I'm not a big 2A guy. Tell them in politics. 2A. I'm not a big 2A guy. I mean, I am, but it's not my life's work is not gun rights, but I'm all in. Okay. But I said at lunch, I said, well, if they take away everybody's guns, if the law abiding citizens hand in their guns, I said, well, then by definition, the only people left with guns are going to be criminals and the government. And that's not, cool. And somebody at the table said, geez, you sound like a Republican. And like an idiot, like a dope, like a moron, like the dummy I was, like the dopey Democrats that are my friends. I said, well, yeah, I am. I'm a Republican. And instantaneously, I was just shunned. I mean, literally on this production, people stopped being nice to me immediately. Like from that moment on, for the duration of my time on that program, people were just not nice to me. If they had to mic me up or give me my makeup, they had to. but they were particularly rough with the brush. Ow! With the powder. Ow! What kind of brush is that? You know, they're using a shoe, they're using a shoe brush on me. They're using a broom. That's right. All of a sudden, the makeup girl, she starts using a straw broom to apply the powder. And I'm like, ow! Anyway, word apparently gets to more and more people. And sure enough, my major representation, I'm hearing less from them. Word starts getting around. TJ McCormick's a Republic. TJ McCormick. And, this one final, kind of thing that happened in my career. And we'll get to the phones. I see you all sitting there. At that time, there was that TV show Talk Soup. Remember Talk Soup on the E! channel? First host of that went on to great stuff. Greg Kinnear got himself an Oscar eventually. Well, they were on I think the third iteration of Talk Soup on the E! channel. Great gig. It got better and better. That gig was amazing. Ton of dough just waiting. They were on the third iteration of that. They were looking for a new host. And I went in there and I was going in round after round after round of auditions. And I was killing better and better every time. It was right up my alley. I could do no wrong. Every audition, every new round of meetings and auditions, I kept killing. I was so good. I was right at home. And back then I was interchangeable for a guy like Kinnear. And I found out that I didn't get it. I was crushed. It was down to me and two other people. I was crushed. Well, you know what? Turns out, friends, I was doing as well as I thought I was. I was doing just as good as it appeared, because I found out several months later that I had, in fact, gotten the gig. That I had, in fact, won the role. But they were told by somebody that I don't know who did this, they told them that I didn't want the gig. That I was waiting for a sitcom role, which was not true at that time. Somebody jumped in there. Somebody in Team TJ jumped in there and gave the gig away. Life-changing. 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 Money, life-changing. Exposure, life-changing. Yeah, that ain't no coincidence. That's blacklisting. Either they told them I didn't want it, or they just realized who I was and pulled me out. This was right around the election of 2001. Bush, Gore, all of that. So there you have it, friends. That's Hollywood for you. Jesus, you've been there. How are you, Pally? Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, TJ. I've called you 3 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
How's your daughter's driving?
You are wonderful for asking. She got her license. She's got it full blown. She's got the laminated license from Albany. She is doing very well. I gave her your great advice for the yellow light. And,
yes.
And thank you for asking. My beautiful girl is doing very, very well.
Great. As far as Jimmy Kimmel is concerned, you were right. He went too far at the wrong moment.
Mm-hmm. Bad business.
Definitely.
Bad for business.
Yeah. And the key word is hurt. Yeah. He hurt people with his speech.
Yeah.
He hurt the wife and he hurt the kids.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No. And you know what, man? If ABC had stuck by him, which they chose not to do as a company, if they had chosen, well, then the marketplace would have kept bearing. Part of me, Jesus, wishes he was still there so that we could watch him fail even more miserably and have a slower failure. I would have loved that, right?
Yes.
You know, it's almost like they were merciful in taking him out because he was on a trajectory that was not good.
Right. I didn't like him at all.
No, man, no.
No.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we agree as always, Jesus, and you're a great guy for being a supporter of the show. I'm really grateful for that. It means a lot. 3:22 here on Another Side of Midnight. It's me, TJ, on 77 WABC. In the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to do a little bit of recovery. We're going to talk a little bit. Got an interesting story for you from my own sobriety. Had some interesting stuff these last week or so. Started second guessing myself. I'll tell you about it in 4 o'clock hour. And, by the way, tomorrow night, we're going to have a guest on. We try to get into that good stuff, that UFO stuff, that fun stuff on a Sunday morning. I said tomorrow night again. Somebody's supposed to come in and slap me. Tony's supposed to slap me when I do that. Tomorrow morning, we are going to be talking about shadow people. And it's as creepy as it sounds. So that's going to be good. Anyway, so let's continue on this, course that we're discussing right now. Jimmy Kimmel and, all these people who say that, it's wrong. It's free speech. It's free speech. I say free speech does not guarantee you a job. Free speech guarantees you the right to say things and gather places and go to church, synagogue, mosque, pray, don't pray, say something, don't say something. But it doesn't entitle you to a job because there's a marketplace. Again, you work at a Carvel ice cream, somebody comes in who's a little chubby, you have the right to say, you do not need my ice cream. You need to turn right around and go walk around. You know what? I'm going to time you, chubby. You go take a walk. All right. When you come back, show me your fit. Here's a Fitbit. Put this on there. All right. Come on over here, Tank. Put on this Fitbit. When you get up to 5,000 steps, I'll give you 1 scoop. All right? All right, Tubby. Go ahead. Come back. Now, you have the right to say that if you work at a Carvel, and you can even justify it by saying, well, the fat bastard needs to, But you're not allowed to. Well, maybe you have a boss that doesn't mind that kind of thing. But generally speaking, you're going to get fired. You have the right to say it, but you don't have a right to keep the job once you've alienated the customers. Stephen Colbert was losing $40 million worth of customer dough. All right. Mike in Jersey wants to talk about Jimmy Kimmel's audience. Mike in Jersey, good morning. Welcome back.
Hey, TJ. I've been known to do a stupid thing or two, but I don't think I'm stupid enough to say, hey, my liberal buddy that does the same exact thing I do with the same exact jokes just got his show canceled. And my audience is only 1.7 million people, and 5 million people subscribed to Charlie Kirk the day after he was murdered. So yeah, let's use that as the subject matter for a joke on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
But the thing is, TJ,
yes,
he
sir.
had to make that joke.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, what do you mean?
Because if you're sick enough to still be watching this guy, you wanted to hear it.
You know what? That's a hell of a point. Wow. In other words, he was serving his audience.
Being an idiot for this long, he backed himself into that corner.
And being hateful and because that's fascinating. So he had surrounded himself with all of these people that hated just like he did and hated who he hated. And this
classic catch-22.
I tell you what.
He lost more viewers if he didn't make the joke. He lost his show because he did.
Mike, you know what, man? I have not heard that analysis. I haven't heard that take on this from the beginning, even going back to Colbert. I have never heard that take. And you know what, man? You're right. If he had started showing too much sympathy, you're right. He would have alienated the people that were still with him. Holy cow, dude. That was very insightful. That's really perceptive. You're absolutely, completely, wow, that's fascinating. Mike, thank you, brother. You just made the show better. That means a lot. Thank you. We've got Charlie in Cherry Hill. Charlie, line 1. I'm curious. What's going on?
The thing I wanted to disagree ever so slightly about was with the FCC, the characterization.
Okay.
So, they have the two media groups, Sinclair Media and the other one begins with an N. I forget the name. It's not important. But one of them wanted to buy more TV stations.
Right.
The group wanted to actually get bigger. Well, now, in order to be able to do that, they had to have FCC approval for it. And both of those things, Sinclair and the other organization, said, we're not putting Jimmy Kimmel on, because they knew, or they felt the FCC wasn't going to approve them their request to buy more radio stations. Or with this administration, they didn't want to have this Trump hater on all the time spewing this. And then what President Obama's contention and his supporters' contention is that ABC, Disney, and California, they caved to the pressure because they're saying that the FCC put its thumb on the scale, right, with to Sinclair stuff, and they're saying that's which I don't have a problem with that. In the end, I agree with you. Ultimately, I do agree. I don't disagree with you about that, but. The whole thing is their whole complaint is the FCC. Mm-hmm. But the thing that bothers me is how they can always get protesters, a whole bunch of protesters in front of the building in minutes, like screaming at people. And that I think is an abuse of the First Amendment, freedom of assembly. I mean, we have an organized rent-a-mob somewhere where somebody picks up the phone, makes a call. It's tacky. And you've got to... Yeah, but I don't. I think that's disruptive to society. I don't. Sure. I don't think that's genuine democracy.
Oh, I don't think. I think once you start shouting and throwing stuff and and look, and at the same time, I don't agree. I just like Anthony Cumia says in his commentary that you've heard maybe during some breaks. I, too, expressed my disagreement with the Trump executive order banning flag burning. I really am a big First Amendment. I'm an absolutist. And I think my absolute embrace and support and love and dependence upon the First Amendment is exemplified by the fact that I know the parameters and I get the marketplace and I know what you can and you can't do. And, there's a little bit of wiggle room here and there. But no, I'm with you. I think when it comes to angry mobs and pitchforks and torches, one person's angry protest is another person's almost riot or intimidation of people, i.e. the college campuses and the anti-Semitism and the Jewish kids.
I was just going to mention that. That's exactly what
can't do that. Yeah. Charlie,
no, you can't do it.
Yeah, I know, man. I gotta go, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for calling. It might have been the first time Charlie called. I'm not sure. It's 3:30. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jerry, Michael. I think Fran is getting in line and Sylvia out in Rockaway. We're going to talk to all y'all. It's 3:30, bottom of the hour. I'm TJ. It's another side of midnight. So grateful you're there listening to me on 77 WABC.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is 3:34 on this Saturday. Going to be a nice day. Going to be really nice. And I love the reference in the weather update at the, I think that was in the bottom of the top of the last hour. Yeah, top of the hour. She talked about good sleeping weather. I tell you what, you're middle-aged when either you're talking about sleeping weather. Oh, yeah, it was nice last night. Slept with the windows open. Didn't have the air conditioning on. It was great. Yeah. Or you're really middle-aged when you hear somebody else reference good sleeping weather, and your eyebrows go up. Yeah. Well, if you're Kathy Hochul, your eyebrows go up and they never come down. Good Lord, I loathe her. Oh, that's something else we're going to be talking about at some point. I called it. I don't know if you remember last week. I called the endorsement. I called it, and I was right. And also in terms of like the parameters, like the trigger for the Kathy Hochul endorsement for Mamdani. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I mean, I'm not happy about the well, actually, I am kind of happy about the endorsement. If he's going to win, he's going to win. He's going to lose, he's going to lose. But the fact that she's now hitched her wagon to his anti-Semitic trailer, I love it. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. And let's see. Let's go to Michael, line 3. Michael, good morning.
Hello, sir. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
And I had to say, while I was sitting on hold, when you mentioned Elian Gonzalez before, I fell back in my seat. So, I mean, that's an old school reference.
Right? And I mean, right? I mean, and if it was a reference to the idea of the government being the only ones with guns, right?
I totally agree. And at the time, Clinton caught a lot of crap for that, didn't he?
Sure. Yeah. Him and, what was the name of that? Janet Reno, that fella. So,
that fella.
So what's on your mind, Michael?
Well, I'm not sure why you're so quite interested in what Obama had to say about Jimmy Kimmel, about all this. Why not talk about what's going on with TikTok right now? Trump cutting a deal with Xi.
Okay.
TikTok it's a Chinese manipulation device.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be doing any kind of business with them to begin with.
Is there not a chance for us to, and I'm wondering, is this not potentially an opportunity for us to, lack of a better term, clean it up? Tighten it up?
I don't see what the point is to begin with. I think they've already done enough damage. So cutting a deal now is just not worth, I don't see what the point is.
Yeah, you know what, man? Maybe it's just a commerce thing. Maybe there's just so much, there's so much business wrapped up. I gotta say, the little bit of exposure that I've had, and little bit, I mean, I've looked at it a lot more in the last 6 months.
I'm with you. I have limited exposure to it.
Very limited, but since I've been looking at it a little bit more for the last 6 months or so, as I scroll through, I have been blown away, and I'm curious everybody else's take on this. I have been stunned at the amount of people who do business. And now granted, I'm a late bloomer to this. I know people are rolling their eyes going, TJ, where you been? Well, I haven't been on TikTok. I am blown away by how much business is done on TikTok. People selling stuff all over the place, all kinds of things, electronics, mini bikes, motorbikes, mopeds. There's musical instruments. It's incredible.
If I could say one last thing.
Please, yes.
Why are we negotiating a deal with the guy that spread COVID through this nation? He's not been made to pay for COVID, and now we're negotiating a deal with TikTok for him. Priorities are so out of whack here.
Dude, I'm shaking my head. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's a hell of a point. And we all, those of us who are fans of the president, for the most part, or for a little bit fans of him. I don't know.
We all know it's a transactional presidency.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of transactional business that I was really counting on.
I didn't really think this was going to happen either. I thought they were going to shut it down and we were going to launch our own American version. Michael, thank you for calling. I'm very grateful that you're there. I really am. Good morning, everyone. It's 3:39 here on 77 WABC. Let's go to Sylvia in Rockaway. Good morning, Sylvia.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
The reason I called is it's so pressing to me.
Sure.
What happened to poor Charlie Kirk and his entire family is something that I think is devastating to all of us who have seen the film, I've heard about it, and all he was trying to do was to unite people.
Just talk.
But that's not really why. And I feel, and I've wept, and I feel so strongly.
Sure.
About his movement, and everyone who wants to join it should, without fear,
Indeed.
This country was founded by people who were oppressed by for their religious belief, for many reasons. They came, even politically, I would say.
Sure.
And I am very concerned about the politics that are happening here, the Ocasios, the Ilhan Omar,
and our own potential next mayor.
And this clown, this rapper. So, yeah, really, the choices that we have for election, we can't but stand aside and accept a socialist movement to take over my beloved city. I was born and raised here. Yeah. I've worked here. I've suffered here. We've all struggled, and
it's personal for you.
What we do, yes, it's personal for a lot of us who live in a big city. And my point in all of this is to say we can't just throw up our hands like it's a foregone act. His election is not foregone, and it really bothers me when I hear on the radio, the polls have said that this is the man that's going to be elected. Oh, it's a done deal. It's not a done deal.
Anything can happen.
There are millions of us that are here that are sitting on our haunches just waiting for what? For it to happen? How many countries have really gone socialist and are happily living in that mode?
Right.
Israel, India, the UK, Russia, and it didn't go so well.
Nope.
And anyone who has had the freedoms that we have in this country and can turn their back on the ability to work at a job that of your choice.
Sylvia, let me ask you this.
Go to the
let me ask you this.
So
let me ask you. You're a lifelong New Yorker. You love your city. You're nervous like everybody else about Mamdani the clown, the rapper.
Oh my God!
But let me ask you this.
Scared.
What's your formula? Because right now the math is bad, and we're going to get to everybody on hold. By the way,
tell everybody on the radio, instead of acting like it's a foregone fact that this man is going to be elected, to get the hell out there and vote.
But what about
by leaving?
But what about the math? Who needs to drop out? Somebody needs to drop out.
Well,
Adams, he's in last, right? Somebody's got to go.
Disco Eric has to go. COVID Cuomo, absolutely. He did us wrong. Instead of accepting the hospital, many people died without the solace of this COVID.
And he's a predator of young women. Member. I mean, here we are making apologies for a man who preyed on young women sexually. Yeah, no, I mean, he's,
So they say, I'm not even sure of that. But, because I'm willing to give people, the benefit.
But it's got to be Curtis in your mind, right, Sylvia?
Well, what else are we going to have? This man, Curtis, who sometimes, we have to take what we have.
Right.
What we have, the card that we have been dealt.
Yes.
Okay. He is always been a true New Yorker.
Yep.
He has fought for the little guy. I remember going on the trains and dealing with the crazies.
Yep.
And the drunks, the homeless.
And Sylvia, I'm like you. And I'm a kid who grew up in Westchester, and I remember coming into the city and seeing the guardian angels in real life on the subway with my dad, and going to Madison Square Garden, and just thinking like I was seeing like actual real life superheroes. Sylvia, I got to jump, but I'm so glad that you called, and this might be the first time that you called as well. If it is, definitely please do it again. It's quarter of the hour. We got Pamela, Joaquin, Jerry, and Richard waiting to go. Richard, I think we're going to relate. So thank everybody for calling. Hang in there. We're going to come back from the quarter of the hour break, and we'll talk to all y'all and you. If you want to participate, 1-800-848-9222. Getting a lot of stuff off our chest this morning. In the next hour, we're going to talk a little bit of recovery, a little bit of experience, strength, and hope, and we'll talk a little bit about I had to dig a little deeper the last week, 10 days, and it's nothing to do with directly to do with Charlie Kirk. I'll also tell you about a kumbaya moment that was supposed to happen, but the Democrats just couldn't come through. And this is in small town Westchester. The Democrats just couldn't help but be Democrats. All right, we'll come right back here on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ, on 77 WABC.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
3:48. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And we're talking about a bunch of stuff. I'm going to tell you about in the next hour. We're going to talk a little bit of recovery like we always do on a Saturday morning. And I'll tell you a little bit about some soul digging I had to do this last week that speaks directly to my sobriety. Directly. And I'm curious how it resonates with you. I'll see how you land with it. And I'll run it by you, you know. And all advice, totally welcome, by the way. And I'll also tell you about how even in small town Westchester, Democrats gonna be Democrats. They just cannot play in the same damn sandbox. Ooh, that's almost a phrase. They just can't play in the same sand damn rocks. Something like that. Some kind of cute little phraseology. All right. Let's go over to Jerry in Jersey. Good morning, Jerry in Jersey.
Good morning, TJ.
Hi.
Let's all remember
what
real censorship is and what real First Amendment censorship is when the government does it. Let's look back at the Biden administration.
Yes.
And let's all recall when they said that the election of 2020 was the most honest election and that the insurrection of 2006 was led by Trump, and it was a violent insurrection, even though nobody had arms as far as we know, and that COVID-19, the shot, and you couldn't say it came from Wuhan either, and the shot was perfectly well, and it was never tested even, and they had liability protection. So look at that and remember, who was taken off of Twitter and Facebook? Like January 7th? Donald Trump, the leader of your opposition party. Now, who cheered this on? The left.
Yes. Without reservation. Yes.
Absolutely. And then they cheered the decision when they were told, and I think it was Texas and a couple other states sued for civil rights violations. The Supreme Court, the three liberals, and then you had Roberts and Comey, the usual people. But the other good, staunch, conservative, smart men there said, no, we should have given standing, and that should have been a violation of civil rights, what the Biden administration did. So this joker, Kimmel, this is like off the charts and not even comparable. We shouldn't even discuss it. It's disgusting that they have us discussing this stuff as if it's really an issue. It's not even an issue. It's not even on a scale.
The proof, Jerry, is almost. I think this is sort of underscores everything you're saying. The proof is actually in the fact of who's doing the talking right now and what they're saying. That's pretty much how we know that none of this is a First Amendment issue, is because they're saying it is.
Right. And they have the right to say it. They're not closed down like we were. We couldn't even say anything without being shadow banned or cut off.
Facebook
completely.
taking orders. Facebook taking phone calls from the White House.
Right.
Take literally phone calls. Go ahead. Sorry.
These were over election issues and over issues of health with shots and so forth. Compare that to a comedian. What are we talking about here? This is a joke. This isn't even on the charts.
I know, buddy.
Now, I'll tell you something else.
Yes.
All the people that have done things wrong, Trump and Pam Bondi, they've got to bring them to justice. There has to be a penalty to pay for everybody that's involved in all sorts of nefarious things, from the very top of the government all the way down into gangs and into the ICE people that they're taking care of. Everybody has to go to jail who has to go to jail. We have to get that done.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jerry, thank you so much, pal. Thank you. Right to the point, like a razor, just like a laser. Excuse me, a laser with an L. Laser with an L. He was right on point, sharp and focused. There he was. Let's go over to Pamela. I love when Pamela calls the show. Good morning.
Oh, thank you. Good morning. Talk about blacklisting at work. Sometimes you don't even know it's happening. You feel like you're in the twilight zone. You know, as a teacher, I would go to union meetings, and you pay for luncheons and you pay for the dinner. So they have speakers on all different topics.
Right.
So they have a question and answer period, and when they even have a hint that you're giving Republican views, all of a sudden the pocketbooks and everything and the bags go on the chairs so that you can't get a seat.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, and I have to go to the head of the union and say, gee, I can't seem to get a seat, which in the end started to turn out good because who wants to sit with them anyway?
Exactly.
Can you give me a children's table on the outskirts? I'd rather have that than sit with these Democrats.
Oh, my God.
And then, of course, if you didn't get my ultimate story, I got canceled. I had to hire a lawyer and everything because they told me to pass non-white students no matter how they did. And I said, I can't do that. That's unethical, illegal, and wrong.
I know you had experience with that. I didn't know that you actually were, did you just say that you actually lost your job?
They harassed me.
Okay.
The harassment, that was like just regular harassment from people, with their ideas. If you at union meetings, if you said anything,
sure.
But at work, at the actual job, the administration started to harass me. And at first, you're not understanding what's happening. All of a sudden, your work gets extra hard. You get extra
right.
load.
It's sort of like the boiling frog, right? Yeah, the frog in the hot water. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you say, gee, I'm just having a patch of bad luck.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you get write-ups for the stupidest things because they can't get anything on you. Then you start getting yelled at all the time. And then, you get thrown into the industrial arts room where it's real hot and no air conditioning.
I'm sorry. Sorry, but you said it funny. That was funny. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, well, thank God I had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it got me through. It got me freaking through.
Sure.
And I was doing pretty well. I lasted 21 years with being in special ed, and I had to deal with a lot of dangerous situations in special ed, behaviors and everything. And the former administration seemed to accept because I was good. I didn't get the school sued. I didn't get anybody hurt. I was good at my job.
Right.
But then in the last few years, the influx of the people who are running our schools now came in. And, you always knew that favoritism existed in teaching. You always knew it. Whoever was having an affair with the principal.
Yeah.
Bob and everything. I mean, it always mattered. But then they actually came to me. All of a sudden, the new teacher ahead of everything, she just came in, dropped in from who knows where, wasn't even working the system long, and said to me, to my face, you have to pass non-white students. And I said, I can't do that. And then you say to yourself, oh my God, it's here.
It's here.
They're saying it to my face. And this is the incipient circulation of the revolution that's been going on in our school systems, in our universities, in our jobs, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, my cat's attacking the phone.
Oh, don't let that happen. Oh, it's amazing. Cats hate me. Even your cat hates me from afar. Oh my God.
He's jealous. He's mad that I'm on the phone.
On the phone with me. I'm telling you, cats I have never, ever, ever, ever had a good moment with a cat, ever. I really think there's just...
Oh, it's that funny. And he's never done this before when I've been on the phone.
Wow. Oh, now I got to talk to somebody about this. I got to figure. Tomorrow night we're talking about shadow people. I got to find out about
that topic.
That's a good one.
Oh, I've got some stories on that.
Then you call in tomorrow. We're going to talk twice this weekend.
Oh,
all right.
Okay, cool.
Pamela, have a good rest of the morning. God bless. Thank you. And tell your cat I said, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. I don't want to squeeze Richard in. I don't want to squeeze, especially Rich. If you can hang in there, I'd really appreciate it because your comment delivers us right into the next hour. It delivers us right into the next hour, right at the top of the hour. I want to talk to you during recovery hour. So if you can hang in there, buddy, please do, okay? And then we'll talk to Joaquin as well. So, listen, gang, the jury is in. Okay. And I'm sorry. We're right. And those dopey loads on my Facebook, all those people in my universe from out west. And that's where the preponderance of them are from. If you could see my Facebook page, it's full of these and again, you're in show business. And, you know, the First Amendment, again, I'll wrap it, these 2 hours here with where we've been on this. I don't begrudge what the parameters are of the First Amendment. I don't begrudge what I'm not allowed to say. And I also don't begrudge, you know, the results of the consequences of the words. I don't sit here just wishing I could say mean things about groups of people. That's not how I'm wired. I've never been a mean comic. I've never been I've never done racist, you know, awfulness. It's just, you know, so, but that's it. That's it. I accept that as I sit here, and by the way, sure, there are things I'd love to be able to say for punctuation on the radio. I am absolutely a 4-letter guy in real life. I am a 4-letter guy really badly in real life. But I know I can't do that here, and I'm good at that too. I'm funny when I'm cursing. I'm a very funny curse guy. I'm good at the 4 letters. Like, I'm creative and I am stellar with a curse word. But I can't, and I get it. First Amendment doesn't guarantee me the right to break the rules for Mr. Katsimatidis and these airwaves. All right, when we come back, we'll talk to Richard and Joaquin, and we'll talk a little bit of recovery, and we'll talk small-town Democrats being lousy. All right, another side of midnight with me, TJ, on 77 WABC.
It's another side of midnight, 77 WABC. This is another side of midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning once again in the 4 o'clock hour here on a Saturday morning. Broadcasting from Midtown here at 77 WABC. It's me, TJ, with you on another side of midnight. Thank you for being there. Very, very grateful. This hour, we're going to touch on a few different things. Tomorrow night, going to get funky. Cannot wait to talk about, finally been wanting to talk about this subject. Shadow people. Pamela lit up a moment ago, her and her evil cat. No, she loves animals. It's not an evil cat. I'm sorry, Pamela. Cats find me evil. I'm going to project it on myself. Anyway, tomorrow night, shadow people. Tomorrow morning. I've been doing this since like April. You'd think I'd settle into the nomenclature, to the terminology. Sunday morning, shadow people. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be nutso. That's going to be crazy. So crack your knuckles, crack your paranormal knuckles now. So this morning we've been talking about Jimmy Kimmel and just an absolute lack of patience for all the people. They're lying. They're walking around in a constant state of deception. It's lies of commission, lies of omission. And again, at the sake of redundancy, the First Amendment is an exercise in God's guarantee that you and I have a right to express ourselves. We don't have a right to a job. And you know what? Jimmy Kimmel is going to go and he's going to have himself a lovely little subscription-based podcast, audio, video. He'll have his own little, what'll amount to a streaming TV show, and there'll be no overhead. He's going to leave all the writers behind. He'll keep one or two. He'll keep his inner circle. Keep them on some sort of tribute type income, and the rest, Gonzville. Audience coordinators, the band, all of that gone. And he won't give a damn. Jimmy Kimmel will not give a damn. They'll be gone. It's 10 after 4. Richard, good morning. Welcome. Line 1. Rare Richard, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, hey, TJ. Sometimes I feel like Larry David in my life, but anyway, AA is supposed to be apolitical.
Yes.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now, I entered it at the time Barack Obama was running for president. And
yeah, me too.
Certain women were coming in with the Obama Hope. I have 3 stories about Obama.
Okay.
Obama Hope with the Che Guevara image on it.
So blatantly, Che.
Right. And I'd make the rounds to the different churches and places, and the same people would show up. Some would, most of them were women. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't help but open my mouth. And I was shunned after that.
Yeah.
By everybody.
Yep.
Pretty much. And you talk to people afterwards. People just look the other way, you know. I got the feeling. So then there was another Obama story where it's in a parking lot up here by the ShopRite. The guy with a McCain sticker on his bumper. And this woman with the shirt on again, giving him a hard time. Okay, you remember McCain reaching across the aisle? Was a maverick.
Yeah.
Along. Remember that?
Sure.
So I butted in. I said, "Leave the guy alone." So that was another story. Another story. This is hilarious. I'm at the Chinese restaurant, and it happened to be in Randolph. It happened to be a black guy standing next to me, younger guy, about 3 feet away from me. And the woman says to me for some reason, "Are you guys together?" I go,
like a couple.
Yeah, I go, "No, he's really not my type." The guy goes off on me. Obama's the president. Obama's the president. And to this day, when I go in there, I say to go, "Oh, by the way, Obama's the president." She laughs.
She laughs.
You know what I mean?
This is over in Jersey.
Yeah. And one more thing. You mentioned Joaquin. When Joaquin calls, I'm a big name guy. Like Could you ask him how he got his name? I'm just curious.
Sure. I'm writing it down. I am writing it down.
I heard
Joaquin, how did you get
on Rita's show before.
Yes.
And it's an interesting name you don't hear every day. So I'm a big name guy. How'd you get the name? This and that type of thing.
I will make all inquiries.
So what do you think about the AA thing? I mean, I opened my mouth.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, that's a perfect entree to a little bit of recovery conversation. And yes, now here's the thing, gang. For anybody, just to lay it out there. First of all, the phones are open and they always are, by the way, but now especially in this little chunk of time. If you feel that and just hang with me here, Rich, for a sec. If you're out there, if you feel that, you or a loved one, yourself, someone you love, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, an aunt, an uncle, a buddy, a pal, a coworker, if you think that your life, if you're powerless over alcohol, or drugs, or sex, or shopping, or hoarding. We had somebody call up who was concerned that they're a hoarder, and we actually found meetings for what did they say? It was something anonymous, not hoarding anonymous. It might have been collecting anonymous. I forget what it was. But if your life is unmanageable due to a powerlessness over an issue like that. 1-800-848-9222. I've been sober by the grace of God, for 20 years now, and off of smokes for 19 years, although cigars are creeping into my reality, damn it. And anyway, Richard just mentioned the idea that AA is supposed to be non-political, apolitical. We talk about principles before personalities, and we talk about, and we say, anonymous, that we don't talk about politics, and it's about, blah, blah, blah. And I experienced the same thing, Rich. I experienced the same thing. I got sober out in LA. How do you think my existence was in Los Angeles trying to get sober? And they would take shots. The people that I love dearly in AA would take shots at everything from Republicans to Christians, specifically to Catholics. And there I am, a Catholic, Republican, conservative, right? Sitting there. And I tell you what, man, it ended up being a very good exercise for me because, you got to get a little humility going, right? You got to kind of make it not about yourself. And my sponsor, every time I'd get all ticked off about all the shots they were taking at Catholics and conservatives, he would tell me, it's not about you, and I'd say, yes, it is about me. They're talking about me. They know what I am, and I'm angry, and it's about me and me. And, I needed a little bit of humility in my life in order for that AA to sink in, in order for me to get out of myself. I had to get a little bit humble. Does that make sense, Rich?
Yeah, I was getting that way. So I teamed up with a few friends. We talked at coffee afterwards. We'd go someplace and we'd trash it out. But, you kind of stick to your own group.
Yeah, well, it works,
Subgroup, a subgroup, basically.
Tell me, so you stopped, did you actually stop going to AA and did your sobriety survive?
Yeah, I stepped back and I'm doing okay. Yeah, my sobriety's still there, yeah. It's still there without the AA. But I stopped going to the AA meetings because I was making the rounds. Maybe I was getting too familiar. Maybe that was the whole thing.
That can happen. You can get a little too familiar. I dig that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Rich. Thanks for hanging in there, and it was fun talking to you. I like how you said, yeah. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. If you're struggling with a substance or a vice, if you're leaning on whether it's sex or gambling. I'm very, very curious, if there's anything that we can discuss that might bring some experience, strength, and hope to somebody else who's suffering. If you're in recovery from something unique, or if you think that you need to be in recovery from something different. Like I said, we had somebody call up a few weeks ago, concerned about the fact that, they were hoarding and their life was unmanageable because they said nobody comes over to the house. They won't have people over because the home is disgusting. And they're ashamed, and they're embarrassed, and they know it shouldn't be that way. And while I don't have any direct actual connection to that, I can relate because, you know, you obsess. When you're an addict, you tend to obsess on things. I tell you what I've been obsessing on. I've been obsessing on buying an item. There's an item that I'm really, really want in my life, and it's an escape. I will definitely do retail therapy. I'll do it because I will feel better about myself. I won't get enough looking at the life that I have. I won't get enough out of the lifelong dream of being on 77 WABC. That's not enough. Now, I'm not talking about accumulating things and I need. It's not like, I'm not material, but rather in order to feel good about myself, right? The success isn't enough. The spectacular daughters, the wife. If you're listening, girls, on Spotify, you are enough. You are. But I also need those shoes. Those shoes. People are going to look at me. They're going to see the shoes and they're going to say, wow, he is together. 2 shoes together. That guy. And that's an obsession. And therein lies my alcoholism. My sobriety is determined by my behavior. And this week, I could not be shut up. I let a few things get to me this week. And there was one day. Do you ever just feel it get away from you? Whatever it is? Very often when you're in a marriage or a relationship, very often it's the temper, right? And me, it's defensiveness, being defensive. And, you know, when you got a big mouth and you're an alcoholic, even though you're sober, but you got a big mouth and a big ego and a big addiction and, it's very difficult. And if you've heard me say this before, if you've heard me, I've talked about how I've heard the wisdom of being shut up. The state of being shut up. Sometimes that is the most difficult state to achieve. Just not saying it, whatever it is. And the other thing that makes it brutal is when you're not a big shot, being a big shot, when do you tend to do that? At home. Or with the people that aren't gonna, they're not going anywhere. Right? So it's at home. And this week, one morning this week, was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday or Wednesday. And we've had a couple of things in the house. Couple of things on a personal level, but just stuff, life stuff, there's nothing, nobody's going anywhere, but couple of things that are just, they're taking your attention. They're very trying on you, trying your faith, not your faith, trying your patience with life. And couple of things popped up over the last 10 or so days, and including the whole Charlie Kirk thing, which has certainly impacted my family because my oldest daughter, is a Charlie Kirk devotee. She started a chapter of Turning Point at her high school, and I'm incredibly proud of her. She spoke at a vigil for Charlie Kirk last Sunday, a week ago, and was magnificent. Anyway, so the family it was a tenuous week And there was one morning, and we're all feeling it, and my big mouth, I couldn't shut it. I didn't shut it. I could have, but I didn't. And I was, I was a bit of a jerk. I was a jerk. I'm not going to qualify it. I wasn't a bit of a jerk. I was a jerk. And I knew better. And it's amazing as the words come out of your mouth and as your voice raises and you start yelling. Now you're putting on a show. Now you're a buffoon. And you know it. And you still can't stop it. It is something to behold, is it not? One's temper once it gets going. And it's not even temper. You know what it is? No, it's not even temper. You know what temper? Temper is when you're trying to pull in, you finally find a parking space. You get there. It's empty except there's a shopping cart right in the middle. Some jackass left a shopping cart. That's temper. When you just blow up. That's temper. When you're yelling at the person who loves you most in your life, that's grandiosity. That's being grandiose. That's being someone who doesn't deserve to be in the same room as that person who loves you back. And yet you still keep going. And they are still there when you're done with your grandiose temper tantrum. Or, again, not temper, but your grandiose show. When I'm done with the buffoonery of the TJ McCormick Show on the couch in the living room, pontificating on so many things, my wife is still there, 20 minutes later, accepting my apology. That is where my gratitude just soars. Not enough to keep my mouth shut the next time. I don't know. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to just not keeping it shut? Now, she's still there. She loves me. I'm not drinking. I'm good. It's a trade-off there. She's a patient woman. She waited for me to get out of rehab and show her that I was ready to not drink. You know, very, very patient. But what about that? What about that when you know that you're hurting the ones that you love and you just can't, it just gets away from you. Isn't it amazing? 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Happy to commiserate. I'm very, very curious if you relate to any of this or if you saw it growing up. Forgive me for all of a sudden interjecting a last minute sort of curveball here, but I'm just curious if you saw this sort of thing growing up. I saw different behavior growing up, but if you saw that kind of thing, or if you saw, rough stuff, like actual rough stuff, that's never been a part of my story, by the way. Knowing me, I'd tell you if it was, but I never experienced it growing up. It's not a part of my reality. Thank God. Thank God. Physical violence has never entered my universe. But I'm just wondering, did you see those sorts of dynamics growing up and did you navigate away from it? Is it something that you have to ugliness? I'm wondering. 1-800-848-9222. I guess we're talking about marriage or relationships. I guess we're talking about relationships. And you don't have to be an addict struggling with this, by the way. You see, I'm not saying that this is for alcoholics only. If anything, I'm curious how a normal person, a non-addict, handles shutting up. What's that dynamic like? I wonder if you're better at it than me. Or if I'm better at it than you because I have to keep my eye on it. Is that a possibility? I am literally going stream of consciousness here on another side of midnight. 1-800-848-9222. I wonder if I might even be better at it than you, as bad as I am at keeping my mouth shut and not arguing with my incredible wife who saved my life. I'm literally looking. That's the kind of jerk that I am. That's the kind of alcoholic I am. I am looking at the person who is, along with me and God, responsible for me still being alive. And I will raise my voice and argue. What in the hell? Let's go over to Paul on Long Island. Good morning, Paul. Thanks for calling in.
You're leaving us spellbound there, TJ. TJ, this audience, figuratively speaking, has you on their shoulders right now, and they're singing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. And I mean that really. But can I ask you something before I get to the meat and potatoes here?
Sure.
What part of the Bronx is your family from? Because you never say it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My mom and dad, my dad grew up, it's funny. I'm Catholic, so we tend to speak in parishes. So my dad grew up, on I think 235th and White Plains. White Plains, right? So the avenue was up there and he was on 235th Street. And so he was near St. Francis of Rome Church and Parish, whatever there. And he went to Spelman High School in the Bronx. I think he was a little closer to Mount St. Michael, if that makes sense. My mom grew up in the South Bronx, like 3 blocks from Yankee Stadium. And then moved a little bit further up North Bronx. She grew up, then finally the last apartment she lived in with my grandmother was on Carpenter Avenue near Misericordia Hospital. Now it's Montefiore.
Oh, you're like, your mom's from the South Bronx, a lot of people, and then you looks like everyone's up from the northern part, the northeastern part of the Bronx.
Yes.
I just want to let you know those neighborhoods were surrendered years ago.
They were. I remember going there in the 70s and they were starting to be surrendered. I used to go there to hang out with my grandma, again, she near Misericordia, hospital right off the Bronx River there. And, matter of fact, she worked at Misericordia. She worked in the cafeteria. She was a cashier in the cafeteria at the hospital.
Oh, okay.
That's the best. Anyway, yeah, so that's the part of the Bronx my mom and dad are from, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people in the audience are from the Bronx, and then when they hear you say from the Bronx, they always want to know the neighborhood.
Because that's the nature of the Bronx, right? It's like, oh, where?
Oh, yeah, they definitely define themselves by their neighborhoods, and boy, you can't say nothing bad about them, their neighborhood.
I know. Where are you from originally, Paul?
I'm originally from the Bronx, too. I'm originally from the northeastern part, a little bit on the other side, Pelham Bay Country Club, Throgs Neck area.
Oh, that's nice.
When I say country club, I always have to say Maron.
Maron.
Anyway.
You guys, what's the best pizza over there? What's the best pizza?
All right. Now, I'm going to get in trouble, but I'm going to say there's a lot of good places, but Nick's Pizza on Gun Hill Road is still, and everyone in this audience is eating there, still off the charts. Unbelievably good.
Nick's on Gun Hill Road. Okay. And what's like second or third for you?
Oh, man. I don't want to get in trouble. There's
good.
One on Crosby Avenue.
Oh, Crosby Pizza and Tommy's.
Right. Oh, yeah. Listen, off the charts, Ernie's. All off the charts there on Crosby. You can't go wrong with a pizza shop on Crosby Avenue.
No, you can't. You're not going to get bad pizza. You're not.
No. These guys are phenomenal. I don't know how they do it, but they do. It's magic.
Hey, Paul, do me a favor. Yeah. Will you've been hanging on for a couple minutes. Would you hang on another minute or two? I got to take the bottom of the hour break, but I want to talk about the addiction comment. So can you hang in there through just a quick break?
For TJ, I'll hang on forever.
You're a jolly good fellow. Right back at you, Paulie. All right, hang in right there, gang. We'll talk to Paul, Mike, Joaquin. It's 4:30 in the morning here on a Saturday, getting you up to 5 o'clock. We're Liz Radabali and the 5 a.m. newscast. This is Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ, and Paul, and Mike, and Joaquin, and Pamela, and everybody who's been calling tonight on 77 WABC.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormick.
Okay, I'm going to get over to the people because they had the absolute grace and love to call the show, and I'm grateful that they did. And so let's get over to Mike in Carolina. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, TJ.
Hey.
All right.
Good morning. What's on your mind?
My head is still spinning after that last caller. Maron, a me, quis tu car.
Quis tu car.
Quis tu car means, what do you say? Quis tu car. Oh, Maron.
I've got a few of them. I know how to say shut up. I know is statazit, and I know wait is ashpet. So I'm learning. Little Mick is picking
right,
up. Ashpet.
Right.
So what's on your mind, Mike?
Well, your show covers all the bases, and addiction.
Where'd you go, Mike? Oh, I thought he said addiction. Yeah,
addiction, yes.
He said addiction. He thought you said something else. Okay, we touch everything, including addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
An alcoholic is going to pass out.
Yes.
A drug addict will pass out. A compulsive gambler will never ever pass out. I've seen it in Atlantic City.
Wow.
The few times I play blackjack, I call it the walk of shame, where they're walking to the ATM every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely never found myself. That was one thing I never fell prey to. I never fell prey to the gambling. I never fell prey to a few things. It was the drinking. I never touched drugs. And you know what, Mike? I talk to you every week, and hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow too. I want to get over to Joe in Elmhurst because he's a first time caller on addiction. I don't want to let this go. So Mike, thanks for understanding. We have a relationship and I'll always be true to you. Joe on line 3 in Elmhurst. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, TJ. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
Great show, my friend.
Thank you.
A day at a time, man. You just don't drink and you do what you got to do. And, with people were put in my path, but yet I refused to look at them. And I was being 12-step for years. So when it took what it took on that fateful day of August 30th, 1986.
Wow.
So I found myself on the floor in my apartment in Manhattan, and I picked up the phone and I called this gentleman that was 12-stepping me for 6 years that we were working together, and he told me to get my butt to such and such a place up near the building, and I did, and I never stopped coming. And those people were put in your path, but with people that, been my experience, how you can be so great with the people in the rooms, but then you can be a jerk with family, and I got friends that are long time sober too, and they would always say, would I rather be right or would I rather be happy?
You want to be right or you want to be happy? Yep.
Gotta be happy, especially if you've got a wife or this or that. I mean, it's an amazing thing, but it's the ego.
Yeah.
It's everything that I know I've been taught, what I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm that way with someone that I love, and usually if I'm that way, it's probably my wife. It's me drinking without the drinking. It's all that bad behavior, but just minus the booze,
Yeah.
It's
It's the ism.
It is. It's the ism. That's it, baby. That's it. Did you find, Joe, did you have a couple of good men's meetings in your program?
Yes, I did.
They're crucial.
I tell you, I mean, a great home group.
Yep.
And learning to sit down and shut up.
Just shut up.
I mean, I was blessed to have a lot of old timers.
Yep, old timers. Old timers.
I mean, I still got a few that have been there since the beginning.
Yep.
That I'm lucky. I'm on my third sponsor.
Wow.
And he was the guy that 12-stepped me from 19 1979 to 1986 when I asked for help. But he ended up becoming my third sponsor when my second one, my first and second died. I mean, you know, my first sponsor, Jack, used to say, you know, you don't die, you don't drink, and you get older.
There you go, right? There you go.
And he was right. He was right.
Old timers, they say it right, don't they, Joe? I'm gonna jump over to another one of us over in Rockland County. Thanks for calling, Joe. Teddy, good morning.
Hey, good morning, TJ.
Hey, you out walking?
I just wanted to out walking, yeah, get my steps in.
Yeah.
What a beautiful morning.
Indeed, we're alive.
Hey, I went to see Eric Clapton last night, another one of us.
Another one of us, yes. Oh, good for you. Where'd you see him? At the Garden? Where was he?
At the Garden.
Okay.
Yeah, it was tremendous.
Oh, good.
But, you know, you don't have to be high. You don't have to drink.
Right.
To go out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Right. Isn't that incredible? And you get to feel all of it that much more. You get to hear all of it that much more, and to realize that you're witnessing and enjoying the art of somebody else who was at the end of his rope, God knows how many years ago. What's the name of his? He started Crossroads, right? Isn't that the name of it?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah.
He's been sober for a long time, you know, he's in his 80s, but he can still play that guitar.
He was rocking, huh?
He was rocking. Badge was a great song he played. He did Crossroads. Great concert. I'm just so happy to be alive.
Yeah, you sound it.
And I just have this joy to just wash over me.
Wow.
And, you know, that's the Holy Spirit, my friend.
Indeed.
So thanks for taking my call. I love you.
Always. Love you right back, Teddy. Thank you. Wow. Ooh, I got a lump in my throat. I love getting a lump in my throat for the right reasons. Not when I'm sad. I like when I get a lump in my throat for something good. George, you're going to bring us home. Down the stretch we come. I got like 60 seconds, George.
TJ, thanks for doing a great job. You keep me entertained overnight.
Thank you.
I love it. And the whole crew, Liz and Joe and everybody.
Right? They're great.
I wanted to switch gears a little bit.
Very quick.
Cash Patel has been screening his staff or crew or FBI agents with polygraph machines. I think that it should be mandatory that every government official should be, you know, up to the challenge of taking a polygraph machine at any given moment.
Yeah,
you know?
those Congress people who were screening him, who were asking him questions, made it sound like it was a bad thing.
Exactly. And one other thing is it'll keep everything on level, and also you know, you get to see these people what their souls are really all about.
Hey,
can you imagine Newsom on a polygraph?
Oh, please! He'd break it. It would explode. Hey, listen, George, I'm gonna talk about Cash Patel tomorrow night. You just gave me a good idea, so tune in and maybe you call in tomorrow morning as well. All right, gang. Already, I'm talking about tomorrow morning. That's because this morning is done for me. I will be back Sunday morning. We are going to talk shadow people. That's going to be our funky subject, probably in the second hour tomorrow morning. Be here for a conversation that's going to creep and freak you out. Shadow people. Can't wait. Also talk a little bit of Cash Patel, some other stuff, maybe Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know. Until then, it's me, TJ, here on Another Side of Midnight.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC.